So as a dog, I was wanting to make a podcast. Maybe this would be the first podcast, but the 19th chapter. But it wasn't the first podcast. It's like the third or the fourth podcast, and maybe the 19th chapter. And that was okay. We could do that. That would be fine. But the main thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to go to Florida because everybody told me, I heard the man talking. The man would speak into his full-length mirror. It was like a J.C. Penney's mirror. Had wings so he could wrap around. It was very demonstrative, and it was very, everybody. He would almost give like soliloquies, like Hamlet. He was like trying to give some soliloquies. But as a dog, what I really wanted to do, I wanted to go to Scandinavia because everybody was saying, you have your shithole countries, and then you have your, what I'm saying, your together with it countries. And somebody was trying to say that these countries that were, shithole were darker, and the Scandinavian, obviously, it speaks for itself. In the Winter Olympics, these little tiny states, you're wondering, what kind of genes do these people have? But, I didn't believe in shithole, and I wanted to go where the sun was. I wanted to go where the warmth was. I did not want to go where the ice was. I'm not an ice person. I'm not I want to be where the warmth is, I want to be at the lagoon, at the equator, with the banana trees and the toucans, and maybe a percussion, and not so much bonfire and warding off the chill. I don't want to have to be so much warding off the chill, warding off the chill, like would beat back a band of, baboons or a pride of hyenas. This would not be so, whatever you would call it, a gaggle. Maybe you want to have a gaggle of geese or whatever they call the harem of hyenas. It would be not so good if you had to beat them back. But the main thing I was trying to do, I was just trying to understand, I wanted to, I wasn't trying to say my carry-on bags or any of this or that or anything. It was, I wanted to go to Scandinavia, and it wasn't the shithole. It wasn't the white people or the whatever. I wanted to go where it was warmer, but they had the strongman competition. And the thing is, I'm a dog. I have hypertension, and I'm trying to take Boost Bar, but my veterinarian won't prescribe me Boost Bar. If my vet would give me some Boost Bar, I'd probably do a lot better. But I wanted to go to Scandinavia to watch the strongman competition, and I wanted to bring my, the comfort dog. I forget what you call these things. It's not a comfort. It's it's a comfort dog. It's I forget what they call them. What do you call a comfort dog? Where the dog gets on the plane with you, and you could have some, you could derive some comfort from the situation. It's a comfort dog, so you get some comfort, but they call it a therapy dog. You have to have the therapy from the dog, and somehow the dog gives you the therapy. But all I knew is, as a dog myself, I had a therapy dog from back in the days when they tried to put me on the Boost Bar. I wanted to try to get some Boost Bar, but my veterinarian wouldn't prescribe me any Boost Bar. I wanted to go to Scandinavia to watch the strongman competition, and I wanted to bring along my therapy dog, which I call a comfort dog. But instead, they said, you cannot have a therapy dog. But I was flying out of Georgia, as it so happened. From Georgia, I could fly out. They wouldn't allow me my therapy dog, but they would allow me my therapy pistol. And they said, you cannot have a therapy dog, but you could probably have a therapy pistol. You could have your therapy pistol on the plane. And they would watch you, the rangers up there in the sky rangers, those the guys who would have the pistols who could try to shoot something after they shoot rubber bullets or what they do. I don't shoot electricity. Who knows, But I was like, I want to have my therapy dog. I call it my comfort dog, but if you won't allow me to get my therapy dog, maybe I will try to get an application and get a therapy pistol. And maybe I could go on the flight to Scandinavia to watch the strongman competition. And instead of having my therapy dog, I could bring along my therapy pistol, and that would be so good. That would be fine, I wonder if you could bring a gun on the plane, a therapy gun. Why couldn't you bring they said you could bring a therapy gun to church, or you could bring a therapy gun to Virginia University or West Virginia University, whichever one it was. But they wouldn't let you bring any therapy guns to any of the Republican National Convention political things. You would wonder, you're like the hallmark, you're the chief, You're the beacon. You're the beacon flashing to the world of gun enthusiasms and Second Right Amendments fortitude, but you don't let them in there. You don't have no guns. You have no guns. You have zero guns. You don't believe in the guns so much so that you would have guns where you are. Only the other people. They could have the guns in the churches. They could have the guns at the universities, and they could have the comfort guns, the comfort pistols in the planes. If they shoot a hole in the plane crashes, oh, well, you had to have the Second Amendment, but you can't have it at the GOP thing. Come on. There'll be assassins trying to popping left and right. You could have like a Lone Ranger pride, and Lone Ranger could ride along the plains and have the freedom of the pistols. It could be, two silver, pearl-handled silver therapy pistols. You could have two, like the Lone Ranger had two therapy, pearl-handled, silver-plated therapy pistols that he shot silver bullets out of, and he got the smelted and got the silver, for the silver bullets. It was very therapeutic, but you couldn't have it at the GOP. You couldn't have the GOP convention. It's gone exclusive. At the GOP, you have a lot of gun exclusivity, And as a dog, I'm wondering who would allow the dog, who would allow you don't allow dogs in, you don't allow guns in. Maybe you should allow some dogs in, and you should have a few guns. If I was a GOP, I would have a few guns. If I was a gun-free zone at the GOP National Convention and Donald Trump was afraid to have a few guns, everybody should be armed. Every single person should be allowed to bring in their therapeutic pistols. Their therapy pistols. They'll be good. Their therapy pistols, their therapy rifles, their therapy shotguns, their therapy ammunition, their therapy, game vests, their therapy coonskin hats, their therapy 100 square inches of orange. You should have a therapy 100 square inches of orange, and that would be good. And you could have your therapy pistol. You could bring your therapy armaments. If you can't bring your therapy armaments to the GOP National Convention, then something's bad wrong, and you should try to figure it out. If you're not allowed to bring weaponry to the GOP National Convention, and Donald Trump and Meadows and all these other peoples and Mitch McConnell and the guys, the David Munoz and the ashy gray homosexual from Ohio, the ashy gray homosexual wrestler, the ashy wrestler, the homosexual ashy wrestler from Ohio, the homosexual ashy wrestler from Ohio. If he can't have a gun, or tell anybody he could bring a gun, or his family can't have some guns, or they couldn't bring their therapy guns or their therapy pistols to the GOP National Convention, you gotta ask why. You're afraid of the therapy pistols, Donald, Donald's afraid to look down the barrel of a therapy rifle aimed at his noggin. You're afraid the GOP, they're not Mitch McConnell and all the people, the Meadows and all the people, and the Laura Ingraham and the Hannity and the Tucker Carlson. They don't want to have armaments and weaponry at the GOP National Convention, even though everybody should be able to believe, if I had to have a therapy pistol, I think I should be able to have my therapy pistol on my hip. That way I could go get a strudel, I could get a root beer, I could get a malted, I could, whatever. I have to go to Walmart, I have to go to whatever. You have to go to have to get go to a good rib restaurant someplace in a shady neighborhood. You have your therapy pistol, so you feel safe. You could go. You could fly. You get in a plane with your therapy pistol, it'll be good. And the GOP National Convention, you should probably have to have a lot of therapy pistols. It'll be good. You feel more therapeutically, enamored with the GOP, and you would trust the GOP if the GOP trusted you. But if the GOP doesn't trust you and they're afraid you bring in your therapy pistols, then what does that say? Come on. What does that say? You can't bring in your therapy ammunition, your therapy 22s. You can't even bring a simple, a a therapy 22 or a therapy 20 gauge? Come on. Come on. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? You can't fool me. You know, I have to have my therapy weaponry, or you're trying to fool me. You're trying to fool me, or you're going to let me bring in my therapy pistol on the plane, my therapy pistol into the GOP National Convention where Donald Trump's making a big speech. He has to allow all the therapy pistols. Yeah, be good. Everybody, Kushner and all the people, and the Barbie doll wife, and everybody could be happy. And Barron could be proud because they would not discriminate against the pistol people, the therapy pistol people. Barron would say, Dad, thank God you led into the GOP. At the GOP convention, you had all the very many people with the therapy pistols and the therapy 22s and the therapy 20 gauges. That was so good, Dad. I was so enamored, and I knew you could trust the people. I knew that was why. If you couldn't do it, if you didn't let the pistols in, the therapy pistols, I knew you couldn't trust them. But if you let them, then I knew you could trust them, and I knew you were telling the truth, and I knew, that was a good thing. And, as a dog, I was wondering, they never did allow the pistols, the therapy pistols, and they wouldn't allow me to have my therapy pistol on the flight, but they allowed me to bring my therapy dog. And that's what I finally did. I just got my therapy dog. And everybody was like, wow, this might be the first flight where we had a therapy dog with a dog. But I was a celebrity. I was flying in first class, and my therapy dog had its own first class seat because my riches are beyond, whatever. But I didn't have a therapy pistol. I had a therapy dog. But that was good. That was close enough. If I had a therapy dog, I say, that's pretty good. I'm somebody. If I could afford and have and sell and purchase a ticket in first class for me and a second seat for my therapy dog, I had arrived. I didn't need a therapy pistol. I wish I had. I could have the therapy pistol, but I had the therapy dog, so I was good. I enjoyed the therapy dog. That was always a good thing, I thought. You know what? I always thought that was pretty good.